Do you want to get your English fluency game to the next level? Well, one thing that you have to do is use phrasal verbs. What are these? Well, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Hi, I'm Ajit from Capshine. Capshine is a revolutionary learn it together English fluency program. With Capshine, learning English is easy, quick, fun, affordable, and effective. And we promise a whole new you in 6 months or less. So what are these phrasal verbs? These are also, by the way, called idiomatic expressions, right? Phrasal verbs grammatically are a combination of an action, also known as a verb, and an adverb, something that describes the action, or a combination of a verb and a preposition, right? For example, look up, look after, look forward to. Notice what these words mean, and I'm sure that you all know what the meanings of these words are, right? They don't mean what it literally looks like. For example, look up doesn't mean to look up. It means to refer something or search for something. I looked up the definition of this word in the dictionary. Look after doesn't mean that you're looking behind someone, right? It means that you're taking care of something. My friend is looking after my dog, right? Look forward to does not mean that you're looking ahead. It means that you're excited about something. You're anticipating something that's going to happen and you're excited about it, right? So these have non-literal or non-obvious meanings, and these figurative meanings or phrasal verbs are very important to be an advanced, competent speaker of English. So let's look at some examples specifically about the mind and the brain and see what they mean and how they should be used. The first phrasal verb for today is food for thought. Again, it does not really involve edibles. What it does mean is that something gives you reasons or things to think about. For example, my trip to the Himachal gave me much food for thought. What that means is that it gave you things to think about your own life. It made you think. I myself went to the Himachal and it was fodder or food for thought. And I thought about what I wanted to do in life. And this is how I ended up being a teacher, by the way. It made me think about things that I wanted to do. It made me soul search, right? To use another figurative term. Great, food for thought. The next word or next phrasal verb is a gut reaction. You've heard of the gut, meaning the stomach, right? When you think from the stomach, you're not necessarily thinking with emotion or with intellect, but you're reacting, right? You're reacting spontaneously. That's what this means. After my first bicycle crash, my gut reaction was that I would never cycle again. So your immediate reaction was that I will never cycle again, right? So a gut reaction is the immediate response that you have to a situation or something that happens to you, right? You're not thinking with your brain or your heart, you're thinking with your stomach, right? Gut reaction. Cross my mind. Did it ever cross your mind that to become more fluent, you need to know phrasal verbs, right? So cross your mind is when something crosses your mind, it occurs to you. You're reminded of it. For example, as I cut my birthday cake, it crossed my mind that I have never eaten an entire cake all my life, right? So as I was noticing it, a thought came to my mind, crossed my mind. Or you could say when I went past the bakery, the smell reminded me of my childhood. So my childhood memories crossed my mind when I went through the bakery, right? Crossed my mind, to be reminded of something. Speaking of crossing your mind, like I said, if you want to be more fluent and be a more competent speaker, make sure you check out the 30-day free trial with Capshine. With this, you get speaking opportunities, you get to learn and practice as a group, you get a personal coach who gives you feedback and recommendation on how to improve, and of course access to daily micro lessons to challenge yourself and to build your vocabulary, grammar, and other fundamental skills, and live classes where you can interact with the coach live and get your doubts solved. Great. Let's continue with the more mind-related phrasal verbs. Lose the plot. This plot doesn't mean like a piece of land, right? It doesn't mean that you lost a piece of land. What it does mean is that you've lost track of what's happening. You don't have any idea as to what's happening. You're clueless, right? Sean is working so many hours that he's losing the plot. He's making mistakes and keeps falling asleep on the job, right? So when you say Sean is losing the plot, he's going crazy. He's losing his mind, so to say. right? And that's what losing the plot means. To go crazy, to not have control over things anymore, and you feel that you're losing control, losing the plot. Mind like a sieve. And notice the pronunciation, it's sieve, not sieve, it's mind like a sieve. A sieve is a thing that helps you sort out different things, right? For example, when you were a child, your mother used to use this thing, the sieve, to sort the grain from the stones, right? That's a sieve. If you have a mind like that, it doesn't mean that you're very focused. It in fact means that things fall through, right? You don't remember things as well, right? You can't retain things. She's misplaced her phone again. She's got a mind like a sieve. So what that means is that she's very absent-minded. Things often escape her attention or memory. Mind like a sieve. It's not a positive thing. It just means that you have a very bad memory. Mind like a sieve. Another very useful expression, off the top of my head. So when you say that something, or you react to something or say something off the top of your head, what that means is that you're saying it without thinking too much, without having thought about it. You're giving an answer spontaneously. For example, off the top of my head, I can think of 3 reasons why reading more is good for you. For example, it helps you learn new things, it helps you build your vocabulary, and also it helps you write better, right? So I came up with that on the spot. I gave you 3 reasons off the top of my head. Awesome. Let's look at another one. Off your head. What do you think that means? If someone is off their head, like that person there, or what he's pretending to be, what do you think it means? Well, to be off your head means to be bonkers, to be almost crazy or mad. You're not a very stable person, right? You must be off your head to travel 3 hours each way to work every day. So if someone travels 6 hours to and fro from work and back, they must be crazy, right? Off their heads. Let's look at a few more. Ring a bell. What this means is that something reminds you of something else. Let's look at an example. Samantha? The name rings a bell, but I can't for the life of me figure out where I've heard it. So what that means is that it reminds you of something, but you're not necessarily completely sure, right? So a particular person's name or a concept or a movie's name could ring a bell, so you think you remember it, right? It seems familiar, but you're not 100% sure. That essentially means it rings a bell, right? And finally, on the tip of my tongue. This phrasal verb has 2 meanings, right? The first meaning is when you're holding back. You have words in the tip of your tongue, but you don't want to say it because if you say it, things will go bad. For instance, I was so angry with him that a few choice words were on the tip of my tongue, but I held them back, right? So you're holding back. You're using all your control to not say those things, especially when you're angry at someone, right? And you know exactly what to tell them, but you're not saying it because you don't want to ruin the relationship. You have words at the tip of your tongue. At the tip of the tongue can also mean another thing. It means that you have something, you sort of remember something, but you're not able to say it out. Have you ever heard a song, right? You are reminded of a song, but you just can't remember the name, or you can't remember the tune properly, right? But you know it's there somewhere. In that case, that song is on the tip of your tongue, or the name is on the tip of your tongue. You remember that handsome young guy we met at the party? His name was, don't tell me, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, right? Suggesting that you know it, but not really. You're not able to say it out. It's sort of there, but not really. Maybe with the right triggers, you may be able to recall it, but you're not able to recall it completely at the moment, at the tip of the tongue. So this idiomatic phrase or phrasal verb has both a meaning which means you're holding back your words, or it could mean that you're not able to say it because you don't completely remember it. Great. Those were some advanced words of phrasal verbs related to the mind. I hope you had fun learning. Make sure not to miss videos like these and continue your learning of English with us. To do that, ensure you subscribe and like and hit the bell notification. And of course, do not forget to check out capshine.com or download the app from the Play Store to get your 30-day free trial. Thanks for watching.